It was nearly 2:37 a.m. when Ethan Cross, a 42-year-old billionaire tech magnate, woke to a faint noise echoing through the silence of his mansion. The house, a sprawling estate just outside San Francisco, was known for its advanced security system, one he had personally designed. Yet, tonight, it failed to give him peace. He rubbed his eyes, sitting up on the edge of his massive bed. The sound came again, a soft thud followed by what seemed like muffled crying. His heart skipped. It wasn't the sound of footsteps or an intruder. It was sorrow, human sorrow. Ethan turned off his bedside lamp and listened. The sound came from upstairs, from the east wing, where Lena, his live-in nanny, stayed with his 6-year-old daughter, Ava. Lena was quiet, respectful, and had been working with Ethan for a little over 6 months. She was in her late 20s, kind-hearted, and had a gentle way with Ava, something Ethan valued deeply after losing his wife Amelia 2 years ago in a tragic car crash. But tonight, something was off. Ethan slipped on his robe, careful not to wake Ava, who, thankfully, was asleep in her own room after a late-night movie. He picked up his phone, checked the live security feed from his cameras, and frowned. Camera 7, the one installed near the nanny's room door, was offline. Impossible, he thought. His system never failed. He moved quietly up the grand staircase, the old wooden steps creaking slightly under his weight. The hallway was dark, the only light coming from the moon outside cutting through the tall glass windows. Then, he heard it again. A cry, a woman's cry, and then a deep whisper. "Please, stop." Ethan froze mid-step. His blood ran cold. He rushed toward Lena's room, heart pounding, mind spinning with every possibility, a break-in, an assault, or something worse. As he reached the door, he noticed it was slightly open. A dim light flickered inside. Ethan gently pushed it wider, and what he saw made his stomach twist. Inside, Lena was kneeling on the floor, trembling, clutching something close to her chest, something wrapped in a white blanket. Her face was streaked with tears, her hair disheveled. But it wasn't the sight of Lena crying that shocked Ethan. It was the crib beside her bed, one that shouldn't have been there. And inside it was another baby. A baby that wasn't his. "Lena," Ethan's voice cracked. "What's going on here?" she gasped, almost dropping the bundle in her arms. "Mr. Cross, please, I can explain." "Explain what?" he demanded, stepping into the room. "Who's that child? And why is there a crib in your room?" Tears filled her eyes. She hesitated, backing up until she hit the wall. "Please don't fire me, sir. I didn't mean for you to find out like this." "Find out what?" Ethan's voice softened, though his confusion grew deeper. Then the baby started to cry, a soft, weak cry that filled the room. Ethan's heart twisted. "Lena, whose baby is that?" She looked down, whispering, "Mine." Ethan blinked. "Yours. But you never said you had a child." "I didn't want to," she whispered, rocking the baby gently. "I was scared you wouldn't hire me if you knew." For a moment, the room was silent except for the baby's small whimpers. Ethan exhaled slowly, trying to process. "You live here, Lena. You care for my daughter. How could you hide a baby from me for 6 months?" She shook her head, voice trembling. "He wasn't here before, sir. I left him with someone, my sister. But she got sick. She couldn't care for him anymore. I had no choice but to bring him here. I thought I could hide him for a while." Ethan ran a hand through his hair, disbelief mixing with empathy. He looked at the baby again, fragile, innocent, sleeping now against her chest. "Lena, you should have told me." "I know," she whispered. "But I was desperate. I couldn't lose this job. My baby needs me, and this job is the only thing keeping us alive." Something in her voice broke Ethan's anger. He saw the fear in her eyes, the same kind he'd seen in people who'd lost everything. He sat on the edge of the bed, trying to calm himself. "Why didn't you come to me sooner?" he asked quietly. "You think I'd throw you out for being a mother?" She looked up, surprised. "Most people would," Ethan sighed. "I'm not most people." For a few moments, they sat in silence. Then, Ethan noticed something else, a faint bruise on her wrist. "Lena," he said softly, "what happened to your arm?" She quickly pulled down her sleeve. "It's nothing. Just an accident." He frowned. "That's not nothing." When she didn't respond, Ethan leaned forward. "Tell me the truth." Her lips trembled before she finally whispered, "It's my ex. He found where I work. He's been calling, showing up around here. That's why I brought the baby. I was scared he'd take him away." Ethan's heart sank. The fear in her eyes wasn't just about losing her job, it was about losing her child. And suddenly, the noise he'd heard, the crying, the broken camera, it all made sense. Someone had been here tonight. And maybe, they weren't gone. Part 2, The Hidden Nightmare. Ethan's instincts kicked in instantly. He stood, his eyes scanning the room. You said your ex came here. When? 2 nights ago, Lena whispered. He banged on the gate, shouting. I called security, they said he ran off. But tonight, I heard something outside again. I thought it was my imagination. Ethan's jaw tightened. No, that noise you heard, I heard it too. He turned toward the door. Stay here, lock the door and don't open it for anyone unless it's me. Lena clutched her baby tightly. Be careful, Mr. Cross. Ethan moved swiftly down the hall, his pulse racing. He opened the security app again, but now 2 more cameras were offline. Whoever was in the house knew exactly how to disable his system. He grabbed the small pistol from the drawer in his study, a precautionary weapon he'd kept since his wife's death, and moved toward the sound of faint movement near the back staircase. A creak. Then, a shadow. Who's there? Ethan called out. No response. He stepped closer, and suddenly, a tall man lunged out from behind the curtain, swinging a metal rod. Ethan ducked, barely missing the blow, and the weapon hit the wall with a loud clang. Get out of my house. Ethan shouted. The intruder growled. Where is she? Where's Lena? Ethan's blood ran cold. So it was him, the ex. Before the man could strike again, Ethan tackled him to the ground. The 2 struggled violently, crashing into a table, sending glass shattering across the floor. The man swung wildly, screaming, She stole my kid. Ethan managed to pin him down, pressing the gun against his shoulder. If you don't stop, I'll call the police, and you'll never see daylight again. The man froze, breathing heavily, eyes burning with rage. She doesn't deserve that child. She left me. Ethan's voice was steady but sharp. She left you because you hurt her. Sirens blared in the distance. Lena must have called the cops. Moments later, red and blue lights flashed through the windows. The man was pulled away, yelling curses as officers cuffed him. Ethan stood back, chest heaving, hands trembling slightly as adrenaline drained from his body. When the house finally fell quiet again, he went back upstairs. Lena was standing in the doorway, tears in her eyes, holding her baby close. Is it over? She whispered. Ethan nodded. He's gone. You're safe now. She broke down, sobbing softly. Ethan hesitated, before stepping forward and placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. It's okay, he said gently. You don't have to hide anymore. Lena looked up at him with gratitude and exhaustion. I don't know how to thank you. Ethan smiled faintly. You already did, by taking care of Ava when I couldn't. She smiled weakly, and for a moment, the tension melted away. The house felt peaceful again. But when Ethan turned to leave, something caught his eye, a small silver locket hanging from the baby's blanket. He'd seen that design before. He frowned, picking it up. Where did you get this? He asked softly. Lena looked confused. It was given to me when my baby was born, by a nurse who said it came from the child's biological father. Ethan froze. He opened the locket, and inside was a photo. A photo of Amelia, his late wife. He staggered back, heart pounding. This is my wife. Lena's eyes widened. Your wife? Ethan looked at the baby again, the dark hair, the familiar blue eyes. No, it couldn't be. But it was. A realization hit him like a storm. This child was his. His late wife's child, a secret she'd taken to the grave. Lena gasped as Ethan sank into a chair, his mind spinning. Amelia, she must have known you, Lena whispered. She said someone powerful helped her once, that's why she named him Eli. Ethan felt tears welling in his eyes. My wife, she hid this from me. Lena gently placed the baby in his arms. Maybe she was trying to protect him, from the same man who attacked me tonight. Ethan looked down at the tiny face sleeping peacefully against his chest. His chest tightened, not with anger, but with something long buried, love. He whispered, welcome home, son. Lena smiled softly, tears glimmering. He's safe now, Mr. Cross. Ethan nodded, looking at her. So are you. That night, for the first time in years, Ethan didn't feel alone. The mansion that once echoed with silence now carried the sound of life again, of healing, forgiveness, and the second chances that only come when truth finally meets the light.